Today, I'm sharing with you a revision success story that is a bit crazy, okay? I told my best friend about it and she was like, that's interesting, but a bit creepy. So I'm really curious to know if any of you have ever experienced something like this, because the crazy part is the synchronicity. But we are also going to talk about something else, and it is why some people, even though they work on themselves, they end up not manifesting what they want. And this is not because they cannot manifest. The reason is that while they are using their imagination, they are in the wrong mindset. And we are going to get to it. But before we talk about this, hello everyone. My name is Al. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. And if you're in need of coaching, all the information you need is in the description box. But right now, let's get into today's topic. Let's start this video with the success story. So while I was in Egypt, I celebrated my birthday over there. And when I got home, I started seeing family and friends, getting gifts, having small celebrations. And one day, a relative of mine who lives further away called me and told me, hey, tomorrow you are getting something from me. Are you going to be there? And I was like, yeah, I'm working, but I'm at home. And the next day I was so busy that I completely forgot about it. But by the end of the day, I realized it hadn't been delivered. And I was like, no problem at all. It happens sometimes. It's coming tomorrow. On Wednesday, about 4 p.m., my relative calls me, super excited. And did you like it? Let me know. I want to know everything. And I had no idea about what she was talking. I was like, it hasn't arrived yet. It's going to show up today, probably, but I haven't got anything. And she was like, no, this cannot be, because I'm taking a look right now at the shipment tracking, and it says that you got on Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. and that you signed that. And I was like, no, it definitely was not me, because I was home, but no one even rang the bell. Nothing arrived for me. And of course, she was super bummed because she had bought an expensive bouquet of flowers and shipped it, and now, as she was saying, probably someone had taken it. And I told her, you know what, don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure that if someone signed it, it was probably one of my neighbors, and this is going to show up. And this is my first advice for you, something for you to think about. If the 3D doesn't matter, if circumstances don't matter, why would you look for logic in the 3D? Why would you invest anything in the reflection? Because if I would have done that, I would think, but why would my neighbor sign with my name? That makes no sense. They would sign with their names. That's why my relative was saying, oh, probably the delivery person took it. But I tried to completely block it out. And I was telling myself, you know what, I'm going to revise it anyway. So why would I go to that extent to give my energy to the story, to fit that story that was playing out in the 3D? Anyways, after the call, what happened was I sat in silence. I sat quietly until I heard my relative's voice telling me, I'm so glad that you love the flowers. And I revised the conversation that we had. I revised it, make it mean that I had the flowers, everything was fine, she was happy, I was happy. I repeated that scene until I felt like I experienced that scene. And when I felt that way, I just moved on with my day. I took my iPad because I was reading something, and I'm not kidding. A few minutes later, what happens? The doorbell rings, and I was like, are you kidding me? Because I look at the time and it was 4:30 p.m. And if you remember the story, my relative told me, hey, here I can see someone signed it Tuesday 4:30 p.m. with your name. And I think I even said, universe, If these are the flowers, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to freak out. And I went to the door, and that it was a huge package. So I walked to the street because there was nobody there, and I couldn't see anyone. No one was there. I was like, that's weird, but okay. So I went in, took the flowers out, put it in a vase, and then I called my relative, and I'm like, hey, I have good news. I have the flowers. And she's like, I know because the florist called me, because a neighbor of yours had called her and said, here there is a box in front of a house that is empty, and I would like to let you know that they just left it here. I'm going to deliver it now. And I was like, oh my God. The universe is always surprising me with the craziest things. So I was really curious. Have you guys ever had a situation where you revised something and it happened with synchronicities? Let me know. And now to the most important part of the video, and it is the mindset, okay? What happens typically when someone don't get what they want, or when they really want something that is so important for them? What happens? People typically try to manipulate the 3D to make it conform, to make it change, so that in the end, they get what they want. But this only happens because they are identifying themselves with the story that 3D version of them, the human being version of them, is going through. They are basically saying, I accept this story because this story is mine. And of course, when you think this way, you think, I have to do something to get something. Or I have to react because I cannot, people shouldn't treat me this way. Or I have to beg, I have to cry so that in the end, my boyfriend or my girlfriend do not break up with me. So this is the mindset, and that's the wrong thing to do and the wrong thing to think, because you don't manifest with the 3D version of yours. You manifest with your true nature, and your true nature is divine. You are consciousness. Everything is consciousness, and everything exists in consciousness. So basically what you're doing is consciousness experiencing itself. So as consciousness, you select a certain reality and you experience it in your inner world. And then the match to that is going to be projected in the 3D. As a human being, you have all of these stories. So people have brains. I cannot change their mind. Or things happen this way. That's the nature of things. Or you have to do something to get something. All of these are stories. As human beings, this 3D version of us, we tend to rely on outer things. It can be a separated God. It could be our own actions. It could be someone or something. It could be techniques. Anything that could make something come to me or happen to me or be in my life. And as consciousness, I only have to imagine it in my inner world, because everything is already mine. It is already mine. I just have to become aware of it. So you are selecting basically what you want to experience. If you rely on your human nature, you are going to have a human experience in manifesting. So that's why we struggle. That's why we create time delay. That's why we sometimes create limitations, because we think this is not possible. Instead, you have to rely on your divine nature and stop thinking like, I need someone to give me something. Because your consciousness and everything already exists in you. You are giving yourself that. And you can use your imagination right now and experience the reality that you want to go through, whether it makes sense or not, because it is always going to make sense when you are consciousness. That's the mindset that you should connect with, before you do any of your techniques. Remind yourself of that. There is no separation. We are one, okay? That's it from me, guys. We are going to talk soon. Bye, guys.